So in this video, I'm going to tell you about one of the worst mistakes you can make when on a date or just talking to a girl. And I made it on a date and it was bad. And obviously, the worst thing you could possibly do around a girl would be to maybe hang yourself or shoot yourself. But let's not get all technical here. This is the worst thing you can do conversation wise, energy wise. So here's the way I meet this girl. One day I go out to the park to read a book because I'm a nerd. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this chick. She's blonde, she's attractive. And I see her reading a book too. So I'm like, it's on, right? We already have something in common. So I have something to say to her. We have something in common to talk about, basically, like an icebreaker. So immediately walk up to her. She's very nice. She's receptive. And she tells me to sit down next to her. Whenever you get a sign from a girl like that, then you know it's game time. It's go time. I don't know if you've ever had a girl walk up to you at a bar and initiate the conversation with you, or you had a girl like playfully touch you, then you know it's on, right? At that point, your probability of success is so much higher, and it also puts you in a high frequency. Not to get all spiritual or weird, it gives you confidence, it gives you charisma when they're the one that's moving the interaction down the line. So I get her number, I text her for only a few days, right? Because I'm not a pen pal. You'd never want to text a girl for weeks and then not see her in person. I think we went on a date like a week later. So the day rolls around, I show up at the spot, and she's late. I think she might be 20 minutes late, and she finally gets there. And I make a joke to her. I say, "You're already starting off on the wrong foot," or I say, "You're already starting off down here." And then I had a smirk on my face. I was obviously joking. And what I was doing is actually kind of good. It's called disqualifying. So I was immediately sort of disqualifying her, making her chase me and then suck up to me essentially because she had been late. And I don't know, she wasn't that socially experienced or what her kind of deal was, but she didn't really get that it was a joke at all. And she seemed kind of awkward. She seemed like she was actually sort of apologetic, a little bit too apologetic that she was late. So from there, we kind of chop it up a little bit. It was all right, but the date, it got a little too interview-like, and we all know what that's like. It's when you're asking questions back and forth, and it's not fun. There's no attraction. There's no excitement or emotion coming from just asking someone about themselves. And this is when I was not as experienced and I didn't understand that. So we talk for a little bit, and then our jobs come up, career comes up. So she tells me she's a waitress, very basic. I've dated a bunch of waitresses. And at the time, I had already had some financial success where I was kind of proud. So I had a lot of pride behind this where I felt like I was the shit, even though there's people absolutely destroying me and killing it way more than I was at that point. But I still had a lot of pride where I felt like I was the shit. So I just had to bring up how much I was making, like a complete idiot. This is something you should never do, because as soon as I told her how much I was making, she says, "Oh, I have a friend who works at yada yada and he's making X amount." And it was more than what I was making. And she said friend, she used the word friend, but obviously, a girl uses the word friend, she's talking about a guy. And it was kind of like a sales position, so I know it was a guy. So she basically mogged me with some other guys she might have already been with or even slept with. Some other guy's salary after I had just brought up how much I was making. So whether that was intentional to, stop me from being egotistical, whether that was, I don't know what it was. Either way, so that made it very awkward, right? You're on a date with a girl, you're trying to flex, you're trying to brag, and then she brings up some guy who's better than you on the thing you're trying to flex about, right? So it became very awkward. It became super awkward. And you know, we hung out for a little bit longer. And I didn't really like this chick either way, to be honest with you. But I will say that you could tell that at that point, she could tell that I was trying to flex. And the energy from that point on was not good. It was awkward. It was weird. And so the key takeaway from this date that I went on is obviously you should never try to qualify yourself with girls. And I took it way too far with actually telling how much I was making. And of course, that's something you can do months, weeks later after you get to know a girl. That's obviously not something you do on the first date. But other than the money thing, you should never try to qualify yourself in any area. Because what you're doing when you're qualifying yourself to a girl is you're saying, I'm trying to impress you. I feel like you're better than me. I feel like I need to impress you to be with me. And what a girl senses from that is that you're not confident in yourself, that you need to say this, you need to do this, you need to laugh at every single thing she says. It's not even funny. You need to be this fake guy, this fake character that's trying to impress her and be with her. And what you're basically doing is taking your status down. And if you don't know about women, they want to be led. They're attracted to the leader. They're attracted to the more dominant person, at least 95%. Unless you want to be a guy who is, you know, dating some boss bitch who's like a CEO and you're the guy that's like at home doing laundry, then you want to be in the position of dominance. You want to be in the one-up position where you probably even have a little bit more status than her. So what you're doing when you're trying to qualify yourself, you're trying to impress her, is you're giving that power away to her. You're chasing her. What you want to do instead of telling her how much you make or telling her this or that about your life is you want to get her to qualify herself. And that is a topic for an entire another video because that gets very tactical and it would make this video too long. So if you want to see that video and you want more detailed advice, that's also in my community, link in the description. But you basically want to get her to convince you why you should date her. And you never want it to be the other way around. You're losing all attraction for her. If she feels like she has to chase you, it's because she's attracted to you, obviously. It's because she feels like you're a catch and you're a bit above her in whatever area. And so that's the reason that I created my community. If I knew all these pitfalls and all these skills 5 years ago, I would have avoided so many more mistakes and I would have had so much more success in dating in a quicker time. So if you want to avoid all these mistakes, if you want to have more efficient success in getting more skilled at talking to girls and dating more attractive females, then I recommend you click the link in the description and then join my community while it's free.